Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Commander Clash podcast, where the Commander Clash crew talks all things Commander. And this week, we are talking about the top commanders from the Final Fantasy set. And this set has literally hundreds of legends in it, so we have a lot of cards to choose from and some pretty spicy options. But before we get into that, we got a crew to introduce, and we're kicking things off with, I don't even know if you're a fill-in anymore, Morgan. You've been on so much often, you're kind of like honorary cast member at this point. But we got Morgan here this week because Crim's, I think at Blizzard or something I saw on Twitter. I don't know. Crim's doing Crim stuff. So Morgan, how's it going? Good to see you.
It's going well. Final Fantasy has turned out to be pretty cool. Some really neat commanders and cool new brew rounds.
That is one thing this set has a ton of, is cool new brew rounds and cool commander cards. We also got another co-host in Phil. Good morning, Phil. How's it going?
Heyo. Almost almost a third of all the cards in the set are commanders, so a lot to pick from, and a lot of them are super interesting.
That's a lot to cover.
I don't know any of them. I know Sephiroth and Cloud because they are Smash characters.
And I'm sure in all these commanders, there's probably some good budget commanders in there. Introducing Tomer, probably better known as Budget Commander. How are you? How are you? Nailed it.
There's some good ones. The amount of new legendaries. I do like a ranking all legendary commanders video every single time a new set comes out.
How many weeks is
I'm
that
recording that tomorrow morning. Yeah, it's going to be all of
video.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
4-hour video probably. I'm not even kidding.
That's what the people want, Tomer. That's what they want. They want everyone ranked.
Who's your favorite though, Seth? Well, we'll find out soon.
We're about to find out.
That's what we're here for.
So yeah, we're talking top commanders from the set. But before we get into the commanders, a reminder that today's show is brought to you by Foil Armor. Do you have problems with your foils curling? Well, Foil Armor is the ultimate solution to flattening your foils. It's a two-way humidity pack that you simply put inside an airtight container with your cards, and Foil Armor will absorb and release the moisture, making your cards completely flat. Put it back in your storage box to keep your cards flat forever, and you can head over to foilarmor.com and use the code MTGGoldfish to get 15% off. And our show's also brought to you by Card Conduit, the easiest way to sell your Magic cards. If you ever get tired of the hassles of buy listing, you can skip them with Card Conduit. You can use their curated service where you send in as many cards as you want with a buy list value of $1 or more, and pay just a 5% service fee. And if you want to do a bit of work, you can use the sorted service where you list and sort your cards in advance and pay just a 2% fee. Either way, you're going to get a detailed report with the results in a fast payment once your order is processed. And you can even get another 10% off by heading over to cardconduit.com/MTGGoldfish. Card Conduit, it's the easiest way to sell your Magic cards. So thank you to our sponsors for supporting the show. And now it's time for the comment of our week. So last week, we talked about commanders that were a mistake, and our top comment comes from @the_Trinket_Mage, who says, Estheim and Yoba have soured the idea of Simic for so many players. I hope we get more mathy Simic stuff that like we've been getting recently, which I think is actually true. I feel like Simic, when I think of Simic, I think of cards like Estheim and Teyova, and those are some of my least favorite Simic commanders, but I feel like Wizards does know this, and they've been trying to make like more unique Simic commanders lately, so I hope they keep going down that path too.
Yeah, the Dustmorn Simic Precon had a couple cool commanders and stuff like that, like, there was the backup one I thought was really cool that lets you play, like, stuff at instant speed depending on how many counters are on it. It determines what kind of card types you can play at instant speed. Like, that kind of stuff is super weird, and I love it.
Yeah, I hope we get more of that stuff.
You gotta try extra hard for Simic, though, just because they are in the best color for card draw and ramp, which are the two most important things. So it's just like, you're already starting from a very high power ceiling.
Yeah.
But I do like the recent attempts.
Well, let's talk about some sweet new Final Fantasy commanders, and let's kick things off today with Phil. Phil, why don't you give us one of the top commanders from this set?
So this commander is probably, I might lean myself out of the window a little far here, but I think this might sadly be one of the most expensive cards from the set once the dust has settled, because it is kind of a strictly better blood artist. It's Sephiroth Fabled Soldier in all caps. Let me know in the comments why.
Because you have to shout it. Soldier!
Okay.
Soldier! Every time.
When Sephiroth enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card, and then Blood Artist text box. Whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life, and then extra text box. Because there's not enough text on this card alone, you gotta flip it. If this is the 4th time this ability has resolved this turn, transform it, and then it transforms into, as this creature transforms, it's a 5/5 flying, 1-winged angel thing. You get a Blood Artist emblem when it transforms, and when it attacks, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. If you do draw that many cards, Blood Artist emblem seems disgusting. And mono black is a pretty good color to be in for mono colors, even if that's kind of all you want to be in. If you got a Blood Artist in the command zone, this is not okay. It's also good for crime triggering. You want to go cute with it, but then again, Blood Artist in the command zone seems very scary.
Yeah, I feel like
It's a very good card.
this is probably going to be the most popular mono black, like aristocrat style commander, I would guess. Like, I think right now it's Yawgmoth might be number 1, and then you have like new braids on there somewhere. But I think the Sephiroth is like, it might not be as combo-y as Yawgmoth, where you can just play it and like go infinite kind of easily with it. But I think as far as like just a value-y aristocrat plan, Sephiroth is probably the commander I would go for, because it is really powerful and it's pretty easy to set up the flip and getting that emblem, and that emblem's just so strong. Like, the problem with Blood Art is they die really easily, but if you can get this emblem out there, there's literally no way in Magic to remove an emblem. So it's like the most reasonable Blood Art is imaginable. And yeah, if you keep doing it, you can stack on multiple emblems. And then they just printed his sword that like double triggers the emblem if you get it on Sephiroth. Yeah, it's a wild card. It's so good.
I think the major, like, I think this card is like obscenely push, and it's like a very, very good commander. It's going to be the best monoblock commander, or the most popular or sought after one for sure. But I'm actually more concerned about this as being, it's so easy to slot in the 99 of any aristocrat deck, any sacrifice deck.
That's what I was.
It's just like, it's just Blood Artist with it's a Blood Artist that also draws you cards. Okay, so that's amazing. And then it flips into a 5/5 flyer that has the emblem, and it draws you more cards. And it's just like, man, like, what if you make any sacrifice deck in black, which is like the most popular archetype in black? Why would you not want to run this? So this is like, we were talking about design mistakes in a previous week. I would put this one in there, but this is an intentional one. This is not an oopsie. This is
I will also say, hitting back on mistakes we talked about last week, I do think part of its power is, I think they want this card to see like standard play and maybe even like Pioneer Modern play. Like, I think part of the reason that it's designed how it is this is one of the few cards in the set that I actually feel like they care about showing up in 60 card format. So that maybe doesn't make it better, but I think it might explain it. And I do agree with Phil that
it makes it worse.
When everything shakes out, this might be the most expensive card in the set. Like, I think it's Vivi and Cloud right now, but I think that this has more like 60 card potential than Vivi and Cloud on top of high commander potential. So I wouldn't be surprised if this card actually sticks.
But didn't they say that Final Fantasy would be not like its standard legal means that they don't have to? They had to make, you know, the One Ring and stuff, because to make it sure it's modern player, they had to. But now because it's standard, now it's standard legal. Now they don't have to make things modern powerful, right? Wasn't that the whole thing?
Well, because Sephiroth is in Smash Brothers, I assume it's one of the more popular characters from the game, right?
Right.
So you have to, like, if you're trying to get new players into Magic, and specifically if you want to like funnel them into standard or something, then you have to have your face characters, your most popular characters, be pushed enough that there's at least a chance that they get played. And I think we have the pieces in standard to make a pretty decent sacrifice deck. Yeah. So Sephiroth probably gets played somewhere. But yeah, I agree that it's a bummer that they said that they don't have to push these Universes Beyond sets anymore, because they're not going directly to modern. They have to go through standard. But this does just feel incredibly pushed. It draws cards. It is a Blood Artist. On the backside, it's also a sack outlet as well. So it's It's so incredibly pushed, and I think that's the biggest downside of it is that not only is it going to be a popular commander, but it goes in the 99 of almost every sacrifice deck. So it just makes deck building a lot less interesting. Unless there's no way this will ever be a budget card, unfortunately. So
No.
there will be that.
It's pretty interesting.
If you had no budget, you'd throw this in for sure, but like most people are going to look at that price tag. That's also the thing with like new players. Hey, new players want to play standard? Well, you need a full set of Sephiroth at a cool $60 a pop. It's
No,
like,
thank you.
That's what Arena's for, Tomer. That's what Arena's for. But yeah, I mean, the card is obviously very, very good. And it's going to see a ton of play as a commander and in the 99. But let's keep moving forward. We got a lot of legends to get to. Morgan, give us a top Final Fantasy commander.
Sure. So this is not the flashiest, most exciting card in the world, but I kind of love it. This is Black Waltz number 3. I don't know what the other numbered ones are, but this is for 2, a black and a red, 2/2 wizard with flying and death touch. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. So I just really, really like these commanders that are just one line of text and you know what you're supposed to do. A lot of my favorite commanders are that way. Like Queza, Augur of Agonies, that was one of my favorite commanders for a long time. I like these really simple, clean designs. And in a lot of ways, it's not a very interesting card because it's just Gutter Snipe for 2 more mana. But a lot of Spellslinger decks push you into Izzet. And now this gives you an okay option in Rakdos. I think there's 1 or 2 other Rakdos options, but this is an interesting choice. And there is like a bit of a payoff. Like, yeah, if you don't play in Izzet, you don't play blue, you don't have counter magic, you don't have as many cantrips. But in black, you have a lot more rituals, you have a lot more burst mana. I think the card draw in black is pretty good. You also get kill spells and stuff like that. So there is a bit of a trade-off that if you want to play Spellslinger, but you don't want to play one of the, 9 Izzet ones that we get every year, then you can try this in a different color combination. I think that there is enough of a difference that it's worth kind of looking at and seeing if it's something you want to try.
I really like that they're
like
oh, go ahead, Phil.
Kuja.
That's I was going to say that too.
Okay, that's probably what you want to say.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Kuja, and that would be my only concern with this card. I like that they're pushing Spellslinger into Rakdos, which is something that's pretty new, but I do worry that Black Waltz number 3 will probably be less popular than Kuja if you want to go that direction, but it is nice and simple, and it's nice that it's going to be super cheap, right? Because it's an uncommon, so you don't have any concerns. They are a good budget card at a minimum.
Yeah. The Rakdos archetype in Final Fantasy is making black wizards and burning in a creative way. So that this is like the souped up version of the token that you're usually getting. And I think Kuja's going to be more popular, but like they kind of both go into the same archetype, which is neat.
How popular?
Burn in a creative way.
How popular is Pauper Commander, Tomer? Because occasionally I have people that come up to me and they're very hyped for uncommon legends because they're like, oh my god, this is going to be perfect for my Pauper Commander deck. Because in Pauper Commander, you get to play an uncommon legend. Does that matter? Is like Pauper Commander big enough where being an uncommon legend's like an upside of Black Waltz number 3?
I have no idea, but I know that Pauper Commanders are very enthusiastic. And they usually, I get the messages too, especially for viewers submitted. There's always a few people who always want me to play Pauper. And I love the format. So let me know in the comment section what you think about these. I'm not an expert in it. So what are the most popular or powerful new uncommons from the set for Pauper? I'm genuinely curious. I think this one is a good one.
I want to try this in Pauper Commander. I've built a couple Pauper Commander decks before. I play it occasionally, and I think it's a really fun format. And yeah, so I'm thinking about building it for that. It seems fun.
Yeah, definitely a cool card. Well, let's keep moving on. Tomer, we're around to you. Give us a top Final Fantasy commander.
Well, we're going back to top most busted ones, and this is one of at least the top 3 most busted / popular. I think there's a big correlation between the both. Commanders come out is Vivi Ornitier, or I don't know how to say the last name. I'm a fake fan. I'm sorry. I did play half of Final Fantasy 9, but I don't remember the last name. It's a 3 mana Izzet legendary creature wizard. It's a 0/3, and it has a 0 mana activation cost. Add X mana in any combination of blue and or red, where X is Vivi Vivi's power. Activate only during your turn and only once each turn. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Vivi, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So Vivi does something that Izzet kind of struggles with, blue and red in particular kind of struggles with, and that's ramping repeatedly. What Vivi does is starts off at 0 mana, can't ramp anything for you. But then whenever you're casting non-creature spells, Vivi just casually grows and pings your opponents at the same time. And as the more you grow, every single turn, you can churn out a lot of mana with Vivi. You could even go into like full-on storm mode by pumping up Vivi's ability, Vivi's power with like pump effects, like Blazing Shoal, for example. It's one of the most competitive ways of pumping it up very quickly, and then you can turn out lots of mana every single turn as long as Vivi's on the battlefield. So you can go storm, but you can also go for like a more longer approach to the game, churning out enormous amounts of mana that you can spend anyway. It's not tied to like instant or sorceries. You can spend it however you want. And also the way you're growing Vivi and pinging your opponents is just casting non-creature spell, not even instant or sorceries. So if you're casting your mana rocks, if you're casting like a lotus petal or whatever, you're popping off really, really crazy. So Vivi's just like obscenely powerful mana engine in Izzet College, which is relatively rare, and it's also a finisher rolled in 1 because it's pinging. So I'm very excited for this card because I like the character. I'm kind of bummed that it is also obscenely busted, but I did have a Nim Izzet CDH deck that was always kind of fringe and bad, and I assume that Vivi will be similar, also fringe and bad, and I'm going to, but better than Nim Izzet, so I'm going to take that as my CDH deck. But I wish there was a weaker version that I could play at more chill tables. But yeah, what do you guys think?
It looks like a custom card. Nowadays, seeing a 0 activation ability and it makes mana. No way they did this. They did though. But do you play this on turn 3 and hope to untap with this? Or do you play this on
I think you play it at
I don't know, with 6
turn 3
mana
and then Blazing Shoal and just combo kill. And
with
goofing
Blazing
up.
Shoal, yeah.
But I mean,
it looks so miserable. It looks so miserable to play against. I think it's like, even if you try to play it fairly, I think it's still just going to be like really pushed. Even if you play it on a budget, I guess you can't really play it on a budget. It's an $80 card. But yeah, even if you build on a budget, I think it's just going to be insanely cracked. And I think people are going to get really annoyed with it, which is too bad because this is another character that I've kind of gathered is a more popular character that people really like, and he's kind of cute. I
love him.
And no one's going to want to play against it, and I think that's really sad.
I
They
will
shouldn't
say,
have made it this way.
I will say, to answer your question, Phil, I think it depends on the power level of your deck. I think if you're playing CDH, you're going to have like all the free protection and so forth, and you can just run out on 3. If you're playing casual, which I honestly don't know if you should play this in a casual deck, but if you're playing casual, then I think you're more likely to wait till turn 4, turn 5 and leave up protection to be able to like keep it around, because it is important to stick. I think this is just a mistake, Commander. I think this is going to lead, it's designed for like new Final Fantasy players, right? It's one of the most hyped characters. I've learned this from Tomer and Krim. They're like, I think it's both of your favorite Final Fantasy character. And it's same for Krim. Like, people love this thing. And I think you're going to have a lot of people that are like, oh, I want to build a Vivi deck. I'll build a Spellslinger deck. I just put spells in it. It's super easy. And it's going to be way too strong for their casual tables. And it's going to be like, it's not going to be fun, and then they're going to have to tear apart, theoretically, their first deck they ever built because they were hyped about Vivi because it's just too strong for their play group. And so that's what I'm worried about. I also am with Tomer where, like, yeah, it's nice that you gave CDH maybe like a new 2nd-tier commander, 3rd-tier commander, but for the sake of casual commander, I wish it was actually a little less good.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that... Sorry,
go ahead, Tomer.
Oh, I'm just hoping that maybe it's okay if you build it poorly, because the one thing that Vivi doesn't do, at least, is it doesn't draw cards, which I know. How will I draw cards in Izzet? That is crazy. And if you like slap on like a Curiosity or a Firion Eye or a Tandem Lookout or anything, where you draw cards equal to the damage number of opponents you're damaging each trigger, which is going to be like 3 in a 4-player free-for-all, then it doesn't matter anymore. But like, I guess if you're a new player and you like play with 30 lands and you don't have any card draw on the deck, then there is a world where it doesn't do anything, but it's very easy to break this card.
Yeah, I think I guess that's true. But I think also that it's even more of a feel bad if you're like just coming to Magic or just coming to Commander and you get excited about Vivi because you like Final Fantasy. And then you not only are you probably going to get like bullied into taking your first Commander deck apart, which is the big sads, but then it's also like that's a lot of money you spent on your first deck. $50 cards. So it's just
what I've
extra
learned
feel
is
bad.
Fantasy players are willing to spend whatever the money is. It doesn't matter. So, I guess good for them.
Why does this thing deal damage? Like, why does it have to be on? Like, wouldn't this be a very strong card if it was just the mana ability and the growing as you cast spells? Like, does it actually have to combo with Curiosity and kill the table too? Like, does it literally just have to do everything?
Oh. Well, it doesn't combo like Niv Mizzet, but it is very good.
I guess it doesn't go infinite, but like every spell you cast, you're drawing 3 or something in a Commander game, so it's not infinite, but boy, it's still a lot of cards.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep moving on. I got a good one. I think I got a good one. So there's 2 Terras in this set, which I guess means Terra's probably a popular character. I don't know Final Fantasy. I'm actually more excited for the main set Terra and Commander than I am for the Commander Precon face card one. So I'm going to go with Terra Magical Adept. So this is a 3 mana 4/2. Front side is Rhul. When it enters, you mill 5 cards. Put up to 1 enchantment milled this way into your hand. The exciting part's the backside. You can pay 6, exile it, return it transformed only as a sorcery is Esper Terra, which is technically 5 colors. So this is a 5-color commander. It has 4 chapters on it. The first 3 chapters say create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary enchantment you control. It gains haste. If it's a saga, put up to 3 lore counters on it. Sacrifice at the beginning of your next end step. Last lore counter, you add double Wooburg, so 10 total mana, and then you return it as the front side. So Terra really intrigues me. It seems like a super cool, like Tom Bombadil 5-color saga commander where you play this and you flip it. The front side, you get to dig for a saga, then you flip it around and you kind of copy your sagas and you get to turbo through them and get all their abilities. So it seems like you can play it as like a fun, pretty fair 5-color saga commander. Obviously, the make 10 mana mode and flip back around's really good, but it's also a really powerful infinite combo commander because if you can flip it and make a non-legendary copy of its backside, then you can do the fill trick that we see him do with Caretaker's Talent all the time and start copying itself with its ability. So it just goes infinite. It's a saga. You keep copying it. You can churn through all of its loyalty counters and you just make an infinite board of hasty 6/6s and kill people on the spot. So I think you can build this pretty spiky if you want to throw in like 2-card infinite combos, or you can build it super casually and just play your favorite sagas. And this is going to be a fine commander there as well. So I like the flexibility of this card. I think it's a really cool design, but what do you guys think about Terra and Esper Terra?
The only other thing I think
color, right?
Yeah, it is 5 color thanks to the backside part. Yeah.
So I also should point out that it's when it enters and you do the mill to find an enchantment, it is any enchantment, and then the backside does make a copy of any enchantment. It doesn't have to be sagas. Like, it's definitely worded in a way that it's probably, like, that's probably what they had in mind, was that this could be an option for a saga commander, which is really cool because we have all the cool new summons. But I've put zero thought into this. But there probably are degenerate things you can do with just, like, generically good enchantments. So that's something you can keep in mind as well, is that it is any enchantment that you can get with the ETB. It's any enchantment that you can make a copy of on the backside.
That is a good point. Yeah. 5-color Enchantress would be fine too.
I think Tom Bombadil players are in shambles. I feel like this card is real gas. I think the like the ETB, you got something back, you mill a little bit, you fill your graveyard a little bit. That's good. It does cost like 6 mana and you tap it. There is like a risk there. Where people can interact with you. But once you play Terra, then you're also in green, so you just ramp a little bit. You play Terra the next turn, you dump the 6 mana, and then you just have a crazy turn. It's also a 6/6 flyer, so it can get in there for damage too. I think it's much better than Tom Bombadil. A little bit more exciting too, more powerful, but not like oppressively. So you have to work for it. I'm also very happy that I found in my rubbish just like a bunch of of old Innistrad cards. So like I'm ready for the Moon Mist.
Oh, do you get
meta.
a pile of Moon
I also
Mist?
picked up.
Here we go.
I picked up a foil. I picked up a foil ahead of time because I was like, I saw all those Final Fantasy transform human commanders thingies that turn into sagas. So I was like, well, I need to have one just in case. And then I'm going to Canada back home, and I have like a stack of bulk, and that's a bulk card. And I have like bulk from like 2011 too, like from way back when. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to go Moon Mist hunting afterwards. And also Firion Eye hunting, apparently.
So Moon Mist, for if anyone that missed this synergy, it's a 2-mana instant that says transform all humans, and then it prevents all combat damage, so it'd be dealt by things other than wolves and werewolves, so it's like a fog. But the trick is a lot of these new Final Fantasy flip cards happen to be humans on the front side. So this is a way with Terra, for example, you can skip over the downside of 6 mana at sorcery speed and tapping it to try to flip, and you can just 2 mana instant speed, get the backside going. And it works with a lot of these new flip cards. So I think we're going to see a lot more Moon Mist moving forward. Well, let's keep moving forward. Back around to Phil. Phil, give us a Final Fantasy commander.
Yeah, so this card seems, we kind of made fun of it, but I unironically like it. It is Hope Estheim. It's a Azorius color 2/2 lifelink, and at the beginning of your end step, each opponent mills X cards, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. You talked about it on the regular podcast. It is kind of sad that it triggers on your end step, but I usually don't like mill because it doesn't kill people, and it's funny because I like life gain, even though it doesn't kill people, but combined, you're kind of building a big life gain cushion, and then it's like incidental mill and incidental life gain, and I think combined, it actually justifies each other, and it is kind of a cool commander to justify playing mill and justify playing life gain. I kind of want to play this at some point on Clash. We'll see if it's scary. Is this scary? Like baby?
No.
Okay.
But
nice.
it is cool. But it is cool.
I think it's a little scary. But go ahead.
One of the things that's nice about it is a lot of mill decks. Like if you're playing like I think it's Brewvac, the mono blue one that a lot of people play is like
scary.
in mono blue if you're playing mill. Which you probably play that in the 99 of this deck. But if you're playing like mono blue mill, you really have to worry about accidentally milling something that your opponents want in there. But the nice thing about these mill decks that go into black or go into white is that you actually have more options for graveyard hit.
Yeah, for rest in
and
peace.
So so you have a lot of things like that to help keep it in check. So that way your mill is less likely to backfire, which is pretty nice. But people love their life gain decks. Mill's overhated. I think this commander rules. I think it's one of my favorites from the set too.
It's so cool that you can just stay alive with the life gain cushion and then just outlast the table where you mill them incidentally, but you also grow your primates. You kind of don't have to. So the problem with mill decks is you spend cards on milling, and that kind of sucks because it does nothing until it does everything, or it angers the table until it kills somebody eventually. But with this, it's like I gain a bunch of life, and then I play this, and then I mill you a bunch, and now I just have to survive. But luckily, my deck is built around life gain. It justifies each other. It's so cool.
It's kind of funny. I also really like this card, but I think I view it almost more as a combo commander, where if I was going to build around it, I think I'd be going for like the Beacon of Immortality, Life Total Doublers, like Elhammer's Archive, Rock's Faith Mender. Yeah. And rather than trying, like, you can also go like very Soul Sistery, Pillow 40, and just try to like lock things down long enough where you mill like a bit each turn. But I think you can build this in a way where you can play this and have like a combo turn that at least takes out one person and maybe just kills the entire table all in one shot.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with this one. It's like I see that on the table. I'm assuming there's one shots coming.
Oh yeah.
It's very silly. It's a very silly card. I would never thought in my life to see life gain mixed with mill.
I know.
I feel like this will get you killed unjustifiably.
No.
But at least I'm like, if you showed this in the command zone rather than will, like one of the Kenris, where it's like whenever you gain life, you get a huge mana discount. I'm more afraid of that, honestly, than this. but like eventually I have to kill this hope because there's going to be a beacon, and then my entire deck is gone. So you do still have to die, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's a super cool design. I like it a lot. Well, let's keep moving forward. Morgan, I think you're up next. What do you got for us?
So next up, we got Y'shtola Rhul, which is a cat druid, 3/5 for 4 blue. At the beginning of your end step, exile target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Then, if it's the first end step of the turn, there is an additional end step after this phase. So this is actually my favorite commander from the set. Some of my friends and I are going to, since Commander Clash is not on Magic Online anymore, some friends and I are going to take the mantle on trying to create a Magic Online show. And this is what I've brewed for it. So in a lot of ways, this is just like any old like blinky ETB shenanigan kind of commander, because you're like flickering stuff. And at that point, do you want to spend 6 mana on it? Probably not. But you do kind of get to do it in additional time, right? Because you'll get the extra end steps, so you'll get to do the extra exile. But then there's also cards that check things on your end step. So like there's, the Cosmos of Elixir, I think is what it is, from Kaldheim, which is like like casuals love that card for some reason. There's like the God Pharaoh statue that drains everyone and makes everyone's spells cost more. So there's like these little things that trigger on end step. So getting the extra end step is kind of fun. So is it busted? I don't think so. But is it fun and dirtily? Yes. And that's what I'm here to do.
Wait, it flickers twice, right? So
yeah.
Because you have 2 end steps?
Yeah.
That is so scary.
I mean,
it's so cool. It's so cool.
It's basically cool. Thassa Deep Dwelling super upgraded, right? It's like very similar to Thassa, where you get a commander that blinks on your end step, but doing it twice instead of once makes this card so wild. Plus, you get to get 2 end steps, which means you're like Chimmel will double trigger and you'll discover twice. Or if you steal enough permanents with Agent of Treachery, you're going to draw an obscene amount of cards. So you can also kind of build around
both
just
of those
like
are in my deck list.
the doubling the end step part too. I love Blink decks. Like, I love Blink decks. That's where I started playing Commander. I played, Tomer will tell you, I played so many Blink decks in the early days of Commander Clash, and I've kind of moved a little bit away from that, but that's kind of my roots in Commander, so I'm also really hyped for this card. Just blinking and dirtling, flickering my Muldrifter. Oh, good, clean Commander.
I'm not really a Blink fan.
I know.
But I do like
you
want
me to win the
first
game?
time. Yes. I'd rather, like, if your win condition is hitting me with a Muldrifter for 2 every single turn until I die of boredom, I'm not a big fan. But I do like that it gives you an extra end step, and I feel like I think it's the first ever to specifically do that.
I believe so.
Yeah, so I don't know. There could be some really cool things doing with that. Obviously, you're going to be going Blink with it. But I'm more interested in, like, I don't know, what are things that have cool end steps that you can copy the effect of? I think that's a cool design space.
I mean, you go both directions, right? You probably throw in some Blink, your Muldrifters or whatever.
You do a little bit of both.
But then add a little bit of the end step stuff too. And if you ever get a roaming thrown down, oh boy, that's so much value. So much value.
Beautiful.
Tomer, you might not like Blink, but what's a commander that you do like for Final Fantasy?
All right. I'm going to do one more popular one, and then I'm going to go for a cutesy one because everybody's pulling out some cutesies. I want to do 2. But the first one is one that is very spooky. It's a new legendary Titan type effect. It's Kefka, Court Mage. It's a 5-mana Grixis legendary creature, human wizard. It's a 4/5, and whenever it enters or attacks, each player discards a card. Then you draw a card for each card type among cards discarded this way. And then you can pay 8 mana. Each opponent sacrifices a permanent of their choice. Transform Kefka. Activate only as a sorcery. The backside is a 5/7 flyer. This is whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, you draw that many cards. Now, Kefka is kind of a value engine of Doom. ETB and attack trigger is essentially, it feels like a Siphon Mind effect. Everybody has to discard something, and you're discarding one as well too. as long as, like, I don't know, 2 different card types are discarded, you're feeling really sweet about it. But usually it's going to be even more than that. You can draw like up to like 4 cards, right? If everybody's doing a single card type differently. And then it's also an attack trigger. So if he has like haste or evasion, you're just destroying everybody's hands and drawing a bunch of cards. And then when you get to 8 mana, blow up stuff, and then it's now 5/7 that's just like, just draw all the cards, num 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 num. Like you just punch somebody in the face for 5 and you draw 5. Like it's that easy. Like this card is cracked, no?
And it does an exile when it transforms, so you can attack right away with it the turn you transform it too. But go ahead, Phil.
It's the best Grixis good stuff thing I've seen. I think it draws so consistently. You can also build around it by saying, I discard something and then reanimate it. But just by itself, it's so good. It does a lot. I don't know, not everything, but 10.
It's funny, when I first saw this card, I was like, that backside is so incredibly busted. You play this, you get to the backside, you're going to draw so many cards. But the more I've thought about it, like, I'm pretty sure the front side is just actually busted. Like, I don't even know if you actually need to flip it a lot of times, because it enters an attract trigger, like Tomer was saying, is actually just a ridiculous source of card advantage, and you're emptying your opponent's hand, which not going to make any friends at the table. You're probably going to get, punched a little bit for it, but still, like, just siphon mine every turn from your commander, which is close to what this ends up playing like, is kind of obscene.
Do you have to be an arch enemy for this? Like, do you have to just accept that, like, I'm going to pull this out, I'm going to be the problem at the table?
I think so.
I mean, it's nowhere near as bad as some of the other discard commanders, but people say, you're making me discard my cards. I don't want you to do that. Team up on you. So yeah, I think it is going to play that way. When I first read this card, I thought that maybe you wanted to build around the backside. Like maybe you find things that like ping on upkeep, like, kind of the group sluggy kind of stuff, but you really don't need to do that. Although you can get there. It is only 8 mana to get there, and you're in black, so you got coffers, you're in red, so you got Jessica's will. You can get to the backside, all right? It's not that hard. But the front side, yeah, you're right. It seems so good because you also are in red, so you have haste enabler, so you could realistically get that effect twice in a turn. And even if you get to stick around, you get to do it every turn. It's a 4/5 body, so you can probably, assuming it gets to stick around for multiple turns, keep attacking and feel pretty safe about it. Like there's probably a player at the table who, isn't going to want to have to deal with the 4/5 body. So, yeah, it seems like an obscene source of card advantage, whether or not you flip it.
And it's cute that you can be like a Madness deck, a Reanimator deck. There's a Megrim deck. There's like a lot of different directions you can go building around it, even though you can also just play it as like generic good stuff Grixis.
You can, by the way, discard a artifact creature, and that's already 2 types. So if you want to make sure it ends up card positive, you can be cute about it.
Right.
Although you don't need to be cute about it. Like the pinger, the thing that pings people when they draw cards. You probably play it. I mean, you're the arch enemy anyways. You can play this.
Embrace it. Embrace the hate.
Yep.
All right. We're back to me. And I got a card that it reads kind of like a meme card, but I actually think it's sort of a busted card. And that's Choco, Seeker of Paradise, our new Chocobo commander, our new bird commander. It's a 4-mana bant 3/5, legendary bird. It says whenever one or more birds you control attack, look at that many cards from the top of your library. You put one of them in your hand, put any number of lands from among them on the battlefield, and the rest in your graveyard. And it also has landfall. It gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So Choco, I don't know if you've ever seen, if you've been following Clash a long time, you probably know Richard's infamous bird commander deck, where you just like play all these cheap birds, and then you play like Toski effects or Coastal Piracy, things that draw as you attack with all these cheap creatures, and you just snowball into a victory. And Richard had a ton of success with the deck. This to me feels like the ultimate commander for that style of play. If you just want to play a bunch of cheap birds, you get this like card advantage plus ramp engine in your command zone. Plus you get landfall synergies, which is really cute. So you can go landfall, you can go straight up birds, you can go some sort of hybrid between the two. So I think that Choco, yes, it's narrow in the sense that for this to really be strong, you got to play a bunch of birds in your deck. But I think Choco's so good that it can actually make all those janky birds into a pretty successful Fabled deck. This is a card that I'm going to be playing for an upcoming Commander Clash, so I've been working on the deck list, and the more I get into it and start like looking at the synergies, it seems like it can actually be really powerful. Plus, a lot of the new Chocobo have landfall shenanigans from the Final Fantasy itself, which works really well with Choco. So I think Choco is actually like really good, even though it's a bird commander, and it's weird to think of birds as being good. But what do you guys think of Choco?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
that
it's got a lot of support at least.
Yeah, there's lots of cheap birds to choose from.
Fledgling
it
offspring.
is also Yep. And there's plenty of busted lands to cheat into play. So, you obviously need to have those busted lands to back up your jank birds. So, yeah, I think if you want to play birds, this is insane. I was hearing Richard say that he doesn't think that this is going to be the replacement commander, but like if I were him, this is what I would replace the commander with.
Plus, it's more flavorful than Derevi.
It's more
flavorful.
It's probably not as powerful, but it's so much more fun. And it's so much. I think the ceiling on it's really crazy.
I think Derevi is still the best because like it basically just untaps all your lands at the very least, and then also it just never has a command text because you can always just cheat it into play. So like Derevi is busted, but like this feels a little bit more flavorful, and I don't think the power is that much lower. Like it's a lot worse in heavy interaction metas where your Choco is not going to sit around as long, and Derevi is like cheat ability is more prominent. But assuming Choco like sits around a little bit, like for one turn or two, you're ramping so much.
Yeah,
you put all the lanes, lanes onto the battlefield. So yes, you do get board wiped or something eventually. But okay, I untap. I have like 10 lanes on the battlefield. I have enough to recast my Choco and redeploy, and also draws a card every single time too. And yeah, like lanefall is the mechanic for Bant's Chocobos in Final Fantasy set. So there's like a lot of lane support there too. Okay, I like Final Fantasy. I'm not a big hater of Final Fantasy. But as a Magic and Final Fantasy person, the Magic side of me is screaming like these are birds that don't fly, and that's the whole thing.
Penguins.
That's the whole thing.
Ostrich is probably based off of an ostrich.
Not in Magic. They're left out for a reason. I'm sorry, I love penguins too, but like,
I mean, it's a Terra bird, right?
Gimmick?
It was one of the apex predators before it died off.
Yeah, but not in Magic.
Is
Magic birds fly. That's the whole point.
It is funny. It is funny because when I was working on building the Choco deck, I ran into some cards that like some birds refer to things with flying. Like that's part of their gimmick since they're birds and birds fly. So you get these weird non-bows with stuff that just randomly don't work with the Chocobo. But then in Bloomburrow, if you go back and look at that set, Wizards printed a couple of birds that are really good, like the Blink one, Salvation Swan, that specifically only works with non-flying creatures. So it's like they made them intentionally a year ago to like actually synergize with the Chocobo. So you also get some weird synergies that Wizards like added in Bloomburrow to work with it.
So now you get the great visual of the swan swooping down and picking up the Chocobo to carry it off. That's awesome.
Well, the Choco needs evasion, right? It's a mere 3/5. Well, it's also going to be punching for much more damage.
I mean, and the good news is it doesn't have to attack. It just cares about birds attacking. So if you can go like 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop bird, play this attack, in theory, you can get enough lands into play where even if you get Wrath, it kind of pays for its own command tax to help rebuild. So yeah, it's kind of a strong bird commander, but let's keep going. We got one more round of top Final Fantasy commanders. Phil, give us your last pick.
All right. I'm a little torn here because both of them are kind of a little honorable. Let me just mention this. I'll talk about something else, but Freya Crescent, something. 1 mana, 1/1. It taps for 1 mana. It is red. You can only spend it on equipment or artifact. We are so close to them putting a Birds of Paradise in the command zone, and it's gonna be. That's gotta be good, right? Okay, I just want to say, 1 mana dog in the command zone is kind of crazy, even though it only
it's limited, but
it's red.
Yeah.
Okay, the other card that. Okay, so I read this from the top, so you see my excitement level. So I read this. It's a Simic, just straight Simic 2-drop. It's a 1/3. Oh man, it says lands you control enter untapped. That's crazy. If it only said this, I would probably be more excited because the rest is a bit of a bummer, even though it's upside, I guess. At the beginning of combat of your turn, if you control 5 or more towns, create a 2/2 elemental creature token with all colors. It's the obligatory 5-color commander with set mechanic, and then 3 mana and Vuberg. Other creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of towns you control. I guess you gotta play towns to justify playing a Spelunking in the command zone. Spelunking is so good, though. I think if this would just be 2 mana, 1/3 Spelunking from the command zone, it would look clean. I don't know. I kind of love it. It's also 5-color because of activated ability, which I guess makes sense if you actually want to go towns with it. I don't know. It's so exciting, but then it's kind of a curveball. Do you play this as 5-color lands, or do you actually play the towns with this? Yep. Okay. It does make an all-color token. So Coalition Victory recently unbanned.
Victory.
Yeah,
I mean,
somebody please buy my foil version of this, please. I want to. It's very expensive, I guess.
This reminds me of something like the desert commanders that we've seen over the last few years, where it's like, if I'm playing this as my commander, I'm going to try to put as many towns as I can in my deck, because why would I not try to get some extra value out of, like, even the pump mode? Like, if you can get even 3 or 4 towns on the battlefield, that's kind of a legit way to close out the game in the late game, and the token's fine. So yes, I would play some towns in my deck, but I don't think you have to be like, we don't even have enough pieces to actually be an only town deck. There's not enough payoffs. There's not enough synergies. So I think you're going to have land shenanigans going on. Actually, what I'm most excited about is to do towns and gates together. I feel like gates have been lacking a good 5-color commander since Golos got banned, and we haven't really gotten a replacement. So I think the first way I would build this is as play all the towns that I can, and also do mazes and gate stuff, because the lands coming into play untapped work really well with gates and with mazes and shenanigans. So I think that's the direction I'd probably be looking. Towns plus something else to, like, fill out the rest of the deck.
It's also, I just noticed, it's elemental tokens, so they trigger Risen Reef. It's almost everything I want to value. Towns.
But I was gonna say, where's the love for everybody's favorite bounce lands? You get 10 bounce lands in your deck, right? And they all enter the battlefield untapped. And they all ramp you immediately. You could do something very naughty with this, obviously, like having just like what amulet? It's called amulet, yeah. The amulet of vigor. Just having that in the command zone
and the
5 colors. You
just
gotta
extra
be
lands.
Something busted, even if you just ignore the town thing altogether.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you gotta ignore this and then go extra land drops and bounce lands and just go nuts. That seems so good.
Bring prime time to Commander. Let's go.
If you do that, isn't this just like a generic Simic good? Didn't we build a Sai or something? Just it's generic Simic good stuff.
5-color. Yeah, I guess
that's
all land decks. That's what all land decks are. If they have access to green and blue, that's what they become.
Yeah. It is a cool card, though. Splunking from the command zone's wild.
It's kind of an okay, just like 5-color good stuff commander too. Like if you wanted to like play on a budget, because you could play all the like like if you want to play all the like gain lands, or we talked about gates. I think gates is probably the best thing you can do with
Wilds
this.
Even
and honestly, I think towns, Tri-lands, towns, I think eventually we'll get enough support for. Just give it a few more universes beyond. We'll get there. But even like you were saying, like it'll help fix your budget tapped mana base, and then at the end of the game, after you've played your Timmy cards, it has a pump on board on the last ability to help close out the game. So I actually think it's like, if you just want to play like a budget 5-color good stuff, it's like kind of okay.
Yeah, I could.
It's not exciting, but it's okay.
Yeah, I do like that it improves budget mana bases. That is a nice upside. Like, I feel like Splunking is a card you can jam in almost any deck and get value out of, and it goes up even more in value if you're playing budget. But let's keep moving forward. Morgan, why don't you give us your last pick of the episode?
Alrighty, so my last one is going to be Stiltzkin Moogle Merchant, which is for 1 white mana. It's a Moogle. I don't know what that is, but there he is. He's a 1/2 with lifelink, and for 2 tap, target opponent gains control of another target permanent you control. If they do, you draw a card. So It's kind of like a gifty commander, which is kind of fun. So there's like jink things you can do. Like there's like the like donate deck. So we kind of all know that like punish your opponent. So you can like give them things they really don't want to have. The rough draft, I was kind of messing around with this, was like going to be like a 9 lives deck where I like give 9 lives to other players and get work around it that way. But you could also just like do like silly commander shenanigans with it and just give them like your, random things you have lying around and be funny with it too. So I kind of like that there are like genuine things you can try to do with it, but there's also just goofy things you can do with it. And we're here to play commander. I want to do the goofy thing. All right. So yeah, I like it. It's fun. He's cute.
Yeah, he might be the cutest card in the set, actually. It's up there for sure.
What about
I don't know what the
Choco?
other Moogles look like.
Yeah, Fat
How dare you slander it? I mean, this is going into my Zedru deck. That's 99 Zedru deck. Windmill slamming there.
That's the first thing I thought of is it's kind of like mono white Zedru, which is pretty cool. I don't think we've seen... There's not that many Zedru-style commanders out there. Like, it's kind of bizarre tradery, but that's not a legend, and that's in red. So I think it's cool that it's mono, and I think there are enough pieces you can build around it, on top of, like, the 9 life shenanigan, or there's steel golems and so forth. It's just like, you can't play creature spells, and, like, funny stuff like that. It's also just good with playing things that have static effects that hit the whole table. You can play a Rest in Peace and give it away, because it doesn't really matter who controls the Rest in Peace, and you're still being able to draw the cards. So I think it's definitely a neat commander that I think it'd be fun to build around. I don't know if it's like super busted unless you're doing like the 9 lives shenanigan. Like there are combos that can just kill your opponent, at least one opponent, right?
I was building 9 lives with it, a 9 lives deck specifically around that, no budget or anything in mind, and it's still slow and jank. So I think even that's fair.
Okay, so even if you're
I
doing
think the ability could be free.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that it costs 2 mana, right? Like, how am I missing something? That's just too cool. If you have to give away a permanent to draw a card, I think this is cost enough. Even in mono white, you can't really abuse the. I don't know. I might be overlooking something, but
no,
it
seems like it could probably be free. It seems fair, but it is super cute and it seems super fun at least. All right, let's keep moving on. We have Tomer, last pick. What do you got?
All right. My favorite one, which is a dark horse, probably not going to be very popular, but I'm very excited to play it. It's the top one that I want to build around, is Firion, Wild Rose Warrior. It's a 3 mana red legendary creature, human rebel warrior, and it's a 3/3 equipped creature you control have haste. Equipped creatures you control have haste. There we go. Whenever a non-token equipment you control enters, create a token that's a copy of it, except this equipment's equipped abilities cost 2 less to activate, and you sacrifice a token at the beginning of the next end step. So every single time at the next upkeep. Oh my god, that's even better, actually. That's actually... Oh, okay. So the reason why I really like this is basically... Whenever you're playing your equipments, whenever you're blinking your equipments or whatever, they come back, you get an extra copy of them for an entire turn, and the equip cost is basically usually 0. Like, the first things I think about when I'm thinking about equipments, like the most fun equipments, are like the sword cycle. All the swords, they have an equip cost of 2. You reduce that to 0. So you play a sword, you got another sword. You equip both swords, you go smashy. Super, super fun. Giving all yourself haste too. Super, super fun. And then you can do also extra shenanigans too. Like you can end the step with Sundial of the Infinite and keep those tokens forever. Wait, no, it doesn't work with that. At the beginning of the next upkeep. No!
Nope.
You don't get
Time walk yourself.
Upkeep. I thought it was the end step.
You just gotta end the turn on your next upkeep.
You find out now. Not
Yeah. Please don't do that.
No. Okay, I thought end step, but whatever. I think regardless, even playing your fair and everything, just being able to just vomit out equipments and then just get double the value out of each one, at least for a turn, is super awesome. And giving haste is super awesome. Is it the strongest equipment commander? Absolutely not. Is it going to be super popular? I don't think so. But I am very excited to make double the swords and double the fun.
Ooh, the funny thing is, I like this too. This was on my list. I had a very different
What tech
plan.
do you have?
Like the swords are still cool. I think this actually is the best commander of an equipment deck, but only a certain type of equipment deck. And that is like for Mirrodin in living weapon equipment decks, where you can play those. You get the token attached to the equipment. It doesn't work as well with living weapon because those are 0/0 germs. So you still get them like for a turn and get to smash in for a ton of damage with multiple creatures. But if you play for Mirrodin that makes 2/2s, or the new job select that make 1/1s, even after the equipment goes away, the tokens still stick around. So you can make permanent creatures and double it up. So that's the direction I was thinking of going, building around it, was just playing as many of the like equipment that make a body when they enter play, and trust that was going to be like the value that would let me win eventually.
I like it.
I feel like it could also go in the 99 of a lot of equipment decks. Like, it is a really neat commander, and I especially like it with the like for Mirrodin kind of shenanigans. But like, I think in the 99 of at least a decent amount of your red equipment decks, you would think about, just because it's a haste enabler on a 3-mana body. Like, that just seems pretty. That seems pretty okay, but on the floor, and then it gets better. So yeah, I dig it.
I know it's a little boring, but I wish it was Boros. I know that's enough Boros equipment, but just to have more access to all the formula and stuff.
Yeah, because a lot of that's in white.
That was kind of a Boros mechanic.
Yeah, it might be better than 99. Like, I might try it in my culture deck, which is Boros colored.
Yeah.
Such a unique effect. It seems like that we might be missing something that we could abuse here. I don't know.
Like a
also,
combo.
white would give us Caretaker's Talent, so you draw cards.
You sacrifice that end step, you can keep it forever. No, foiled.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to do it at the next upkeep, is there? Although, I think it's an upside outside of that, because then it means, especially with the core mirrored and stuff, because you have like, well, no, that's not even true. I was going to say you had defense, but it's the beginning of the next end steps. Why did they word it that way? Like, what is...
Maybe they didn't want a sundial.
Were they worried about sundial being too powerful?
Yeah. I don't think that would have been busted, would it?
No
way.
No way.
No way. Sephiroth is fine, but Firion, we have to nerf him. We have to make sure he's okay.
All right, I'm going to bring us home with the last pick, and this is actually, if you look on EDH Rec, the most popular commander from all of the Final Fantasy released currently, although it was also, I think, like literally the first one spoiled, so that might be part of it. But it is Y'shtola Knight's Blessing. It's a new Esper commander. It's a 2/4 cat warlock. It's got vigilance. It says, at the beginning of each end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, you get to draw a card. And when you have a casted non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, it deals 2 damage to each opponent, and you gain 2 life. So kind of like Esper Spellslinger / life loss shenanigans. And I think even though this is probably kind of a control-ish style commander at its heart, or like a grindy commander, there are some cool shenanigans around this. You can use cards like Snuff Out, for example, which you can cast for free, but it's technically big enough that it's 4 mana value, so it's going to trigger the drain mode, and it makes you lose 4 life, so it's going to trigger the card draw mode. So there's a lot of weird cards that you wouldn't play in most decks that are going to be really sweet in a Y'shtola deck. So what do you guys think of this card? Is this going to be one of the more popular Esper commanders, do you think, moving forward?
Yes.
It's definitely cool. Like, I like that you can like dig through time and stuff like that. It's really good with that. So there's like things that look like they cost a lot of mana, but in practice you don't actually have to spend that much mana on them. So yeah, it seems cool.
I mean, I also 3 mana isn't too much. Yeah,
is it that busted?
It seems like everything triggers the hit.
It seems really strong.
But keep in mind this, it's not life loss, it's damage. So we talked about VV and curiosity effects. All the same things apply over here too. So you slapped on a curiosity or a sigil of sleep. Curiosity, you just draw 3 cards if you have 3 opponents whenever you get the ping ability going. And then sigil of sleep, you bounce 3 creatures, 1 for each opponent whenever you get the ping ability. Free spells, which are just like the best thing to do in Magic the Gathering. Like, oh, I force of will, but also I drain you, but also like I'm also going to be drawing cards. Snuff Out is also very good. I fierce you. Oh, by the way, I also drain you. Like, GG. This card it's silly strong. It's silly strong, and I think it is going to be like in the top 3 most popular Esper commanders of all time because, again, correlation, and it's very easy to build around, easy to break. There's even like little silly, like I was doing upgrade guides for all the precons. There's silly things like there's a card called Risky Shortcut from Aether Drift, you draw 2, each player loses 2 life, and it's a 3-mana sorcery. So that itself will trigger Y'shtola. Everybody will lose 2 life. That will trigger Y'shtola. You'll draw an extra card. Like, it's so easy. It's so easy to break the card.
Give this lifelink and gain 8 life with every spell.
That's
Seems
awesome.
brutal. Also, cat girl. It's just as the other Y'shtola.
And it's also the face of a precon, so everybody's going to be like, oh, this is a really powerful commander. I should build around it. Oh, maybe I'll throw in some easy upgrades. Oops, a daisy. I am the arch enemy every single time I bring this card out.
Do you think it's that good? Is
full
this
mana.
like a borderline mistake? I mean, so there are some restrictions on it, right? You do need to cast things mana value 3 or greater, which, if you could just cast like your Brainstorms and Ponders and trigger the drain mode, it would be way too good. So at least there's some amount of work you got to put into it. But the more Tomer talks about all the cards that work with it, it doesn't sound like that much work to actually trigger.
You just need
this.
a wallet.
That's pretty easy.
Yeah, the thing that you need is a wallet. Like, I cast Submerge. Submerge is $5, but I could cast it for free for Y'shtola. I have Fierce Guardianship. Fierce Guardianship, so that's an easy $60. Cast it for free. Oops, I drain you. Oops, I draw a card. What's the black one and 2? Oh, you want to wipe my board? Oh, I'm gonna flawless maneuver. Oops, a daisy. I drain you. I draw some cards, and it's like, this.
I guess we've seen with like Up the Beanstalk how abusable these mana value restrictions actually are, because there's so many ways to cheat on them. Wizards has been moving more and more towards like, if you actually spend that amount of mana, then you get the effect.
Yeah.
We've seen that on recent cards. I wonder maybe they should have done that with this one, but I think they maybe didn't have room to put the extra text on there because it's pretty full as it is. Anyway, those are our top commanders from Final Fantasy. Honestly, there's like 200 commanders or something, so there's so many more cool ones that we didn't get to. So let us know your favorites in the comments, and keep an eye out, because I know Tomer, he's going to be hard at work doing a video where he ranks literally every commander from the set. I feel a little bad for you,
For
Tomer.
hours.
Good luck with that. So if you want to hear about the commanders that we didn't get to today, Tomer's going to have you covered in his probably 4-hour-long video going over all of them. So anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks to our sponsors for supporting the show. And we'll be back next week to talk some more commanders. So until then, have a great week. And this is a crew signing out.